Amazing. Well, thank you so much to all of our guest speakers today. We've quickly run out of time, so we're going to dive straight into a Q&A with all of our speakers. So if you do have any questions following all of their speeches or about any aspect of their work or something that you'd like to hear a little bit more about, please use the hands up function and we'll come to you, or you can type any questions in the chat box. Feel free to direct questions at a specific speaker or to all of the speakers. And we do only have about 5 or so minutes for questions. So if anyone does have any pressing questions, we'll head straight to you. And Sheila, your question about the Facebook link, is that in relation to the Open project?
Yeah, it was just, yes, Jess just sort of flipped off that last slide. I was frantically trying to write it down.
Yeah, I think it's just been posted in the chat box, so hopefully.
All right, brilliant, thank you. Now. Thanks very much.
Any questions for our speakers to kick them off? Otherwise, I can start with the questions maybe while everyone's thinking. I guess a question for all of you maybe would be if a young person was maybe thinking about entering into the kind of youth governance world and sort of wanted to be involved in the sort of policy decision-making process, where's a good place to start? Where would a young person go to? Who could they reach out to? How could they get involved in that process? Feel free to, does anyone want to take that one first? Should we go to Sophia first? You're top of the screen for me.
Sure. So my answer will probably be slightly different, just because we do work with children under the age of 14. But I think this ties in a little bit to the concept of rights and responsibilities. So we frame everything as children's rights, and one of children's rights is to have their voices heard and be involved in decision making. But that's quite inaccessible to, I would say, most children. If not all children, in terms of like the voting age and access to these sorts of structures. So it's really part of our job in Scotland as part of the incorporation of the UNCRC to make these opportunities really obvious and to embed them. So they can't be sort of special one-off, even like applications. They should be available and supported for every child to have access to. So it's not a very tangible answer, but it's something that needs to be worked towards, and it needs to come from adults' responsibility, embedding it into children's everyday lives.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, the onus shouldn't be on the young person necessarily to be accessing those opportunities. It needs to come from adults, making sure that young people are aware of their rights and the opportunities that are available to them. Donna, should we go to you next?
Yeah, I think, well, for us within a local authority, I think it's about young people knowing that they can be as involved or not as involved as they want. So we have some young people that are involved in their youth councils or MSYPs, they're involved as climate change ambassadors. But I think there has been an entry point for every young person, regardless of how much they want to get involved, would be the first thing. I think a great starting point is to contact your local youth worker or your pupil council in your school. I have put the link up earlier on for our participation strategy, which kind of shows kind of like clear inroads to be able to do it. But I totally agree with what Sophia was saying there in terms of young people being able to kind of get involved at any point, you know, and for it to be fun for them as well. I think that's the main thing as well. I think sometimes when you talk about youth governance or young people's voice and rights, some people might think it seems a bit school-like, you know, and I think it's about us bringing the fun to it as well, and for it to be voluntary.
Definitely, yeah. I think using the right language is really important, especially for young people and children. Sheila, I saw you had your hand up in the audience. I don't know if you still have a question that you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of getting answered, I think, as you go along. So that's why I quickly took it down. Where were we at? Over here, I'm a Scot in Northern Ireland, but what we're actually doing is trying to build our group of young people into our board within our organisation to give them their own voice. And what I was just going to ask was, what would have helped for some of the young people? What would have helped you getting into the decision-making process? You know, we're talking about giving young people a voice and stuff, and we're trying to facilitate that. But what else what else can we do to help that and help steer that in the right direction? Because we're nearly there, but we're not quite there yet.
Thanks, Sheila. That's a really good question. Felix, do you want to take that as one of the young people on the panel tonight?
I think what I kind of brushed on before is something else. I think you should come into our spaces rather than expect us to come to you. In a way, I think it's also about trying to not feel intimidated as well. Like you feel like you're not having someone just sitting on the screen going, yes, yes, I am listening, I am listening. It's about an active feedback, a two-way street, as well as just coming to us, making sure that you're flexible enough to be like, well, school finishes at 3. I'm going to have a call at 5. Not, I'm going to have a call at 12. Why would you have a call at 12 if you want to talk to young people? Unless you're going into the schools. That's the only time it makes sense, you know? But I think it's all just about an open dialogue, communication. Don't try to intimidate them. Just be real with them. If they're young people, they don't want to be talked down to. Different for the Children's Parliament, maybe they need a bit more of like an encouragement. They need like more, yes, you can speak to us, but it's maybe just like, treat me like an adult. I want to be involved. I want to be treated like an adult. Please just, and we'll be all fine, you know?
Great, thanks, Felix. And yeah, it sounds like what you said has resonated with Dylan in the chat box. He said totally, Felix. So Jess, we've got just one final minute left of the webinar. I don't know if you want to add anything else to what Felix has touched on there.
Yeah, I think definitely coming into young people's spaces and not expecting them to go into more like corporate spaces or into your space. Also something like I think it's good practice before kind of meetings like that, sending out agendas. I know that's normally common practice, but ensuring the young people fully understand, especially if there's like jargony language and stuff like that. In terms of like decision making with young people for what's making it easier, I'd like to speak on behalf of my group, but I hope that work we're currently doing, kind of practicing decision making and different methods of making decisions is helping. And, you know, like practicing assertive language rather as aggressive and passive, and ensuring everyone does get a chance to speak, because some members might be full of amazing ideas but might not be the loudest in the group. So just ensuring you take that time to make sure everybody is heard and in their own way.
Fantastic. Thanks for wrapping us up, Jess. That's a really nice place to end, I think. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of the webinar. So just to say another huge thank you to everyone for coming along and our guest speakers for sharing all of your insights and experiences. It's been a really varied discussion. It's been really interesting to hear all of your perspectives. And if you do have any questions after today's webinar, feel free to get in touch with me. My email address will be posted in the chat box, and I'll also be sharing a recording of the webinar with everyone by email in the next few weeks, so you can also get my email that way. And that recording will be available on our YouTube channel and on the Learning for Sustainability website. So thanks everyone, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.